The Vancouver Canucks continue to win games at the worst time. The tank might be dead, but we're just getting started. It's Begsy, it's Bhawan, and you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, friend, and thanks for hitting the play button on today's episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and part-time credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we want to thank you for making Locked On Canucks your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, where the best way you can help us grow is to listen every day and subscribe. And by always, I'm joined by my co-host. Some call him Flower Man Bhawan, but that's mainly just me. Some call him Eric Cartman. He is Kyle Bhawan. What's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk to the people, talk to the city, talk to the fan base from around the world. Hey, like me or hate me, love me or don't want me here. Go Canucks go, right? Go Canucks go. And I do want to start off the show by going over some of the top comments over the last couple of days. I think we got to start the top of the show with the comments because it's all about the people, right, Beggsy? It's not about you and I. It's not about our families. It's about the people watching this, okay? So I want to start with this one right here, okay? Whatever voice mod Kyle is using made me turn off the podcast. It sounds like I'm listening to Eric Cartman trying to talk about hockey. Can't take it seriously or listen to this chump. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or you can't speak. Sorry, Cartman. Cartman won't tune in. Yeah, I think the only thing I can say to that is sorry, Trevor, because I think we lost a fan, okay? Let's move on to the next one, okay? I couldn't listen to Kyle's voice for more than 1 minute before I had to turn it off. He sounds like a cartoon character. Sorry, but it's annoying AF. To that dude, I think his name's Kevin, you got to start watching cartoons, man, for real. You just got to start watching cartoons. And for all those people going after my voice, it is what it is. If you hate my voice, leave it in the comments. If you like my voice, leave it in the comments too. Begsy, I think I would have a hard time dealing with this if I had a hard time getting women in my life throughout all these years. For real, because then the voice would actually get in the way. But I've had this voice for almost 3 decades, and it's been good. It's been good. I haven't been stopped. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I get paid to make podcasts, man. For real, man. I get paid to work at a studio. I think something's happening. I got this show. I got 6 other shows on my network all week with Kyle Bhawan. It is what it is.
Yeah, you see, you've had that voice for almost 3 decades. So you're saying it hasn't changed in 3 decades? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Dude, I think so because when I was younger, I was waiting for my. It's a family show, okay? But I was waiting for those things to drop. You know what I'm saying, bro? You know what I'm saying? But I've looked and I've heard. I don't think they've dropped. Now, another comment I do want to get to, and it's a Canucks show, right? It's not a Kyle Bhawan show. Look at this one. This guy believes, Dave, that it's time to start unloading some wingers and put some solid defense in front of Demko. I know I'm hitting you with this one out of nowhere, bro. Who are some defensemen available that you could see the Canucks swap a winger with, like one of those 1-for-1 type trades, I think last year we heard a lot about the Marino and blah, blah, blah. Like, are there any other trades out there like that? And bro, another one I could throw at you is like, could they have done something similar, like get a right-handed defenseman like Hronek if they just shipped off Garland or Besser?
Yeah, so I think I did write about this for Daily Hive a little while ago, and it was 8 underused defensemen is what we called it, who the Canucks could target, and I mentioned one of them last week on the show, and that was Jakub Zboril in Boston. Zboril actually played with Hronek for the Czech team at the World Juniors back in 2017. Again, not getting an opportunity on a stacked Boston Bruins team. He's not an exciting player, but he's a low event player. Who I think, again, on the left side, that's the kind of player who you need to have with Hronek. And, later this week, I do want to kind of touch on Hronek and, how he can be successful in Vancouver. But in terms of some other defensemen, one of my favorite targets is Dylan Coghlan of the Carolina Hurricanes. I might be butchering his name, but he is the pride of Duncan, British Columbia. Dylan Coghlan was a promising young right shot defenseman in Vegas' system. He was a part of that Max Pacioretty trade, the infamous one where it was Max Pacioretty and Dylan Coghlan went to Carolina for future considerations. But Dylan Coghlan has been passed on the depth chart by Jalen Chatfield, old Canuck, our friend over in playing in Carolina now. So Again, Chatfield just fits their system better, I suppose. But, all of Coughlin's underlying numbers are really solid. From my viewings, I like him as a player. I think he's got good speed. He's strong on the puck. Like, not a super exciting player, but just someone who's not really getting an opportunity. He's now 25 years old, and he's an RFA at the end of the season.
Whoa.
So
Did you
that's a
say
name
that
I'll
age?
throw out.
You said 25 years old? 25 years
25
old?
years old. Yeah.
Damn, I think
Yeah.
Alvin's gonna ship off a second-round pick and Niels Höglander for that, man, for real. That's something else, man, that's something else.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's fair to talk about, and we are going to spend probably most of the spring talking about how is this team going to get better, because we all want to see this team
Mhm,
improve, except for
mhm.
right now, because right now they're improving at the wrong time, buddy. And I think there was a comment yesterday, either online on Twitter or on YouTube or something, about how you got to tune into Locked On Canucks. It's a positive show. And then here, the lead story I had for this show was that the tank is dead. The tank is dead. Okay. The Canucks they're climbing the NHL standings, or they're dropping in the lottery rankings. They are now the 7th worst team in the NHL. A couple weeks back, they were the 5th worst. So yeah, the Canucks are moving in the wrong direction right now, man. And I can't say I'm surprised. I've said for a while, I think there's no way this team finishes more than 6th worst, but I think it's more likely they finish 8th or 9th. So they just passed the Montreal Canadiens in the standings to become the 7th worst team, and they're within 2 points of Philadelphia and St. Louis, two other teams who are
Wow.
spinning their wheels right now. I think actually both St. Louis and the Philadelphia Flyers have lost 3 games in a row. I lost one of my many tabs, but I believe they both lost 3 in a row. And the
Wow.
Canucks, again, they're 5-2-1 in their last 8. So they got Demko back, Hronek's coming back at some point. Pettersson and Hughes are playing lights out. I think they
You know
are
what this
playing.
is? You know what this is, Bagsy? It's not road to the playoffs. It's road to the fundamentals, man. Road to the fundamentals, and the city and its fan base and the people around the world who follow this team. We got to be excited for that, right? Road to the fundamentals. We don't need Connor Bedard. We need the fundamentals.
Yeah, seriously. I completely. Well, you don't. Wait, whoa, back up. You say we don't want Connor Bedard? Oh, dude,
We don't.
sorry. I
I
thought
said
you
we
said we
don't
do
need.
want Connor Bedard.
It's
Oh my
clear that this
god.
organization thinks that we don't need Connor Bedard. What we need is the fundamentals. Defense wins championships. A team system. Five guys in, 5 guys out. You know what I'm saying? A team effort. A team full of Selkie winners. You know what I'm saying? Who needs Connor Bedard when you got fundamentals?
Wow, you are. I want whatever Kool-Aid you're drinking. I feel like it's got some.
Dude, bro, come
It's
on,
from
man.
one of those stores in Vancouver that sells some good stuff that's illegal in other parts of the world. I think that's what you're sipping on right now. Because God, geez, man, that's
Okay,
unbelievable.
bro, obviously I want Connor Bedard, but I gotta be realistic about my day-to-day approach in this thing called life. And Elias Pettersson is playing unreal. He's a man on a mission. A man on a mission. JT Miller's playing his best hockey of the year. Thatcher Demko's in here getting reps, right? Getting reps, getting warmed up. And how do you say the dude's name? The Latvian goaltender?
Yeah, we're gonna touch him a bit more in our next segment, but it's Arturs
He's excited.
Silovs.
He's playing well.
Yeah.
He wants to do his thing, but I think he wants that one way type of money. I feel like I know he's still signed for. I think he's still signed in a 2-way deal for next season too. But I think he just wants that that chance to make that good dough next year.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I will say, so just want to correct myself and be honest on the show. It is Arizona and Montreal that have each lost their last 3 games.
Okay.
So that's part of the reason why the Canucks have passed Montreal, because Montreal is losing, Canucks are winning. Surprise, surprise. But Philadelphia is 2-6-2 in their last 10 games. St. Louis is 3-5-2. So both teams are not playing well and doing what they should be doing if they want to increase those lottery odds. Kyle, I
Mhm.
was thinking before we get to the next segment, maybe we should run the draft lottery simulator for the
Why not?
first time
Why
in
not, bro?
our
Why
Locked On
not?
Canucks tenure.
Just let me know when you want me to press it. Okay, let me know.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Okay, let's. Should we say a little prayer? Okay, let's do this right now. I know we've been winning some games, but please, hockey gods, do us a good deed. Yeah. Oh, so close. This would hurt.
Oh, dang, we got second overall.
Oh
Woo!
man, come on, dude.
Yeah, no, that's why you okay, come on. That's a
Dude,
good
come
thing,
on.
man. If
No,
we
what do you
win the
mean?
lottery,
Come on, Bagsy. Come on, bro. Okay, we're gonna watch the draft lottery together, and you know how sad we would be if it got to number 7 or number 8, and we were positioned in that position, and then Bill Daly reveals the card, and it's not our team, and it's like we just won the lottery, and and then
Yeah,
we got the number 2 pick. Come on, man. It just it would just
you will not hear me complaining if the Canucks win the lottery and move up to number 2. That would be an awesome thing for this team. I think right now it seems like there's kind of a clear-cut top 5 that's emerging right now,
yeah.
and I kinda wanna bring this up quick before we go to our next segment, but, I think Adam Fantilli has been the number 2 rated prospect for a long time, but I just opened the Athletics' most recent rankings that were released this morning, and it actually has, Matvei Michkov, at number 2 now, and I know there's that Russian factor, there's, a lot of,
Yeah.
is he gonna come to North America, blah, 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 but his player comparable to Nikita Kucherov, he's been outscoring basically any Russian prospect,
Ooh.
in history, including, like, Ovechkin and Malkin, so guy looks like an absolute star. The Canucks obviously have pretty much got as many Russians as they've ever had on the team at one time. So
Yeah.
if they do jump into that number 2 spot, I do wonder if, Michkov becomes, more of the primary target there.
I hope so, man. I hope so, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Again, Begsy, you can go ahead and use your hockey knowledge to allow peace to enter your heart because we're gonna get a top 3 pick, a top 2 pick. We won the lottery, but I would be very, very sad for weeks if I knew that we were so close to turning the franchise around that quick. Because Connor Bedard he just erases the past, for real. For real. He erases the past because if he enters this locker room with the Pedersens and the Demkos and the Hughes and the Miller, then we can kind of just, I don't know, something happens, bro. Again, we feel good, man. We feel good. We walking with the strut, in Vancouver, man. Woohoo, baby. Okay, but whatever, man. Whatever, man. We're thinking about the future, man.
Thinking about the future. There we go. Well, before we get to our second segment talking about Arturs Silovs, the Latvian legend himself, we need to tell you that the midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores and threes drained. Hey, God, my Portland Trail Blazers, they're back, baby. They're back. They got a 2-game winning streak going on right now. But they do face a pretty stiff test in the Boston Celtics tomorrow night. I do like their odds of keeping it close, though. I'd be picking them against the spread. And if I was doing it, I'd be using FanDuel. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a bigger chance with same game parlays. So don't miss your chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to fanduel.com/lockedon. That's fanduel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Great job, buddy.
Hey,
Great job, man. Go make some money. I hope that money is in a lump sum and it's coming your way for real, Bagsy.
yeah, that's the goal. Baby
Yeah.
number 2 is on the way in 3 months. So life's just only going to get more expensive after that. So
Wow. Okay. Life's also gonna be more full of love. You
and
come
more
on,
full
man.
of love, man. Come on, come on.
Come on, you
I'm
mother
I'm
father.
having a baby boy, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's so
Maybe I
beautiful.
maybe I should name him Arturs. I'm not laughing at all, but this Arturs Silovs, I think the legend is growing a little bit, not just with him, but the Canucks are continuing to look like a bit of a goalie factory right now. And
Mhm.
I think both you and I remember from being kids that the Canucks kind of were considered to have a goalie graveyard, which I don't think really made a ton of sense. There was a
Me
bit of a
too.
rough patch there between McLean and Luongo with kind of Kluche and Felix Potvin and all those guys. But ever since Luongo's been in town, I mean, Luongo, Schneider, Miller, Lack, Markstrom, Demko, and now
Mhm.
maybe Silovs. I mean, Silovs is 21 years old right now. I know he's about to turn 22, but I've been pretty impressed with how he looks at the NHL level. I think there's sometimes in this game where he gets a bit too excited in his crease, and full disclosure, I'm not a goalie guy. Maybe a bit too excited in terms of just maybe moving too much. But overall, I think he's a calm dude, and I'll say this, man. He might be 21, and he's definitely younger than you and I, but I think he's definitely more mature than you and I. I mean, this guy got married at 18 years old. Okay,
Whoa,
this guy's already been married for like 3 to 4 years, man.
that's beautiful, man.
I'm
That's
telling you, man,
love,
he's
dude.
got maturity beyond his years, and I think it shows in the crease. Even his post game scrums, he's just a calm, collected dude, which is what you
Cool.
want to see in a goalie. I know I said this about Demko for a long time as well. He was a bit different from the hot-headed Markstrom. But between Demko and Silovs, I think you have two goalies who are both kind of fit the stereotypical NHL goalie now. They're both 6'4", they're both big, they're both athletic. But most importantly, I think they have that calm demeanor, which you need when you're playing goaltender in the NHL.
You need that calm demeanor in life, yo. I feel as if everyone needs a little bit of stoicism, or again, if you don't want to take it that far and add an ism to it, just you need to do that. Just be calm, cool, collected in your day to day life. You got to sprinkle that in, and both those guys do have it. And I just like I'm gonna have trouble saying his name, so can we just go through it together? You say it first.
Arturs Silovs.
Arturs Silovs. Silovs. The dude seems fun. He just seems fun to watch. And I think some of that is because of the inexperience, right? First couple NHL games, he's still young. The fundamentals maybe are not there 100% of the time, but he's, again, fun to watch. I feel as if when you go watch him at Rogers Arena or wherever in the NHL or in the AHL, he just has this charismatic nature to him, and he wants to put on a bit of a show for the people.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I'm just a big fan of his demeanor.
Mm,
You don't want to see goalies so smashing sticks and getting all pissed off after goals. Like, you're going to
mm.
give up goals. These things happen, but I think it's the way you rebound and handle it that's most important. And look, last night the Canucks defense did him no favors in that third period. I don't want to say Nashville was peppering them, but the Canucks defense was definitely looking a little leaky. And it happened at multiple points during the game. Like, Nashville had the edge in even strength shots, even strength scoring chances, but the even strength scoring chances in the third period were 13-3 for Nashville, and they were 6-1 in terms of high danger chances. Again, this Canucks team, we can talk all as much as we want about their structure being better, but this is no defensive juggernaut. Okay, like they got there's Guillaume Brisebois and Noah Juleson playing in your top four right now. It's a messy situation, and no, I think Silovs again for the most part handled himself really well last night, despite facing some good opportunities. And of course, he wins in the shootout. He made some 6 saves last night.
Mm.
He was going toe to toe with UC Saros, who's been a back-to-back All-Star, a Vezina nominee. Just again, really, really impressive stuff from this young kid. And again, the Canucks are just a goalie factory. Shout out to Ian Clark.
Yo, can I,
They-
Begsy? Okay, so you know how you were talking about there was that stretch between McLean and Luongo where people deemed that we were a bit of a goalie graveyard, right? Like Essence, Kevin Weeks, Felix Potvin, etc. Right? I left one name off of there because I feel as if he deserves more credit. And I know. Maybe this is a bit of recency bias because I've been listening to Scott Rintoul and the West Coast Express podcast series. But Dan Kluche, for me, he did a lot for me, man. He did a lot for me because he helped. Don't get me wrong, the West Coast Express, the number one line in hockey, they brought me into, loving the Vancouver Canucks. But I feel as if Dan Kluche was just overly scrutinized, and I know the goal against Lidstrom kind of is all over his resume. But do you think Dan Kluche was actually that bad of a goaltender? Like, don't you think that he was a bit of a like? Don't you think he was like top 10 in the NHL during that 2 year stretch? I don't know.
I'd have to go back and look at it. Not
Yeah.
my gut says no. I felt like
Okay.
he was pretty league average at the time, but Brian Burke made a great point on that West Coast Express podcast done by Scott Rintoul, and that was that Kluche was often not healthy, like especially in
Hmm.
that 2003 run, which was the West Coast Express's era's
Hmm.
best chance of going to the Cup final. Kluche wasn't healthy. He had an injury in
Hmm.
the spring. They kind of rushed him back for the playoffs, and Brian Burke kind of regretted the fact that he was never 100%. And I believe he said that if he was 100%, like he believes the Canucks would have gone on to the next round. Um,
Yeah.
so that's worth considering too when you kind of think about Kluche's legacy.
100%. 100%. The goalie graveyard that is the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, and speaking of former Canucks, I do want to debut a segment for our final segment of today's episode of Locked On Canucks. And this segment is called the Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week. It might sting a little bit, but hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun about it. But before we get to our first edition of the Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week, I need to tell you about a product that I started using every day. Kyle, I came back from my vacation to Bali, and my dad bod was growing. That gut, it was getting a little bigger. I was having trouble seeing, the what down there.
Whoa.
But I've started to leave that post vacation dad bod in the dust since I started taking Athletic Greens. So, what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, all the things. Kyle, I usually get up at 4 a.m. to start writing about the Canucks, prep for this show. And I used to start my day with coffee, but now I start my day with Athletic Greens. And even though I've left my vacation bought in the dust, that tropical flavor of Athletic Greens takes me back to the beaches of Bali. As a dad, I need my sleep, and Athletic Greens supports better sleep quality, recovery, mental clarity, and alertness. When you use AG1, you're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance product. And Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Great job there. Again, you're on a roll. And I'm about to get flamed in the comments because I said Dan Kluche, top 10 goaltender during that stretch, maybe like 2002, 2003. Again, I was picking up 30 wins. He was my goaltender. That's my goaltender. That's my goaltender. I was just looking at the Vezina voting from that year, and we have no sign of Dan Kluche in the top 11. They don't even have anything past 11 goaltenders. So you want me to read these out?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear.
Okay, so back in 02-03, the West Coast Express, the best line in hockey. Yeah, Naslin winning the Ted Lindsay, I think, and Todd Bertuzzi being the best player in the hockey, blah, blah, blah. Okay, number 1, we had Martin Brodeur. Number 2, Marty Turco. Number 3, Ed Belfour with the Maple Leafs. Wow. Number 4, we had Patrick Waugh. Number 5, we had Patrick Lalime. Number 6, you're going to hate this, man. You're going to hate this. We had Dwayne Rolison. Number 7, we had Nikolai Habibulin.
Oh, right.
Number 7, we had Roman Czechmanic. Number 8, we had John Sebastian Jaguar. Oh, these numbers are a bit off because some of these players tied in votes. Anyways.
Yeah.
And then we had Olaf Kolzig and Thomas Vokoun to round out the top 10, I think. So
yeah.
No,
and you know what?
Okay.
What again? There's a West Coast bias because, like you said, it's our team, it's our goaltender, and it's easy kind of to get sucked into that vortex.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, like, the Canucks were playing in the middle of the dead puck era, and they were one of the only teams that was winning by scoring goals.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
That's
if you
true.
look at those stats from 02-03, they're like top 3 in goals, and I want to say they're a bit below league average in terms of goals against. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I believe I want to say 3rd in goals and 17th in goals against, like something in that area. So they weren't known for having stellar goaltending. It was league average. It was enough to get them by. But they really won because of that top line and their ability to score goals. Speaking of scoring goals, our Cam Neely, our first winner of the Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week award, goes to Jared McCann. And Jared McCann's been scoring goals lately, man. I know some of those Canuck fans, when they're getting down about this team, they're thinking of cheering for the Seattle Kraken. And that's fine. That's
what?
fine.
What do you mean that's
I
fine?
hope you still keep tuning into Locked
Don't
On
even
Canucks.
listen to this guy.
Fine.
Come on, bro.
Oh, I see. In yesterday's episode, you talked about not hating Toronto, and now you wanna not hate Seattle. Well, now you want to hate Seattle. Okay, all right. I see where your priorities are.
Come on, man. Down the I-5. That's our cousin. Dude, get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go ahead and make the playoffs. We're getting knocked out in 3 games, okay? Not even 4. For real.
That's a great question, actually. Maybe comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave a comment here about who would you rather win a playoff series, the Seattle Kraken or the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd probably rather see the Kraken win around than the Maple Leafs.
Of course you would. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a Kraken jersey right behind you in a couple weeks, man.
No, it's not quite gonna go to that level. But hey, you know what? For the Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week award, we can't control it. It's just someone who's ripping it up outside of Vancouver. And McCann has 4 goals and 2 assists, 6 points in his last 4 games. He's scored goals in 3 of his last 4 games, and the Kraken have won 4 in a row. I mean, they were kind of on the edge of the playoff picture for a while after being, in the top 2, top 3 of the division all year long. And now they've really put themselves, I think they've kind of cemented themselves to be in the playoffs now. They have 78 points after this 4-game winning streak. And, the the Flames in Nashville are tied for that 9th spot in the West with 69 points. So the Kraken have a 9-point cushion. I think they're feeling pretty safe right now.
They're
And
good.
a lot of that is due to Jared McCann, who's now hit the 30-goal mark this season.
Mm-hmm.
What could have been, man? What
Good,
could have
good for
been?
him. Good for him because he bounced around early in his career. He's been to a couple places for real, and he's just been pretty solid over the last 4 or 5 years consistently. And he's got that little bit of a pest in him, but more importantly, he's just a goal scorer, dude. He's a goal scorer, man. I wonder what he would do if he was playing with like top end players around him. I know he had some time in Pittsburgh, right? He did, right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee he wasn't seeing a lot of time with the big boys. But I want to see. I want to see what would happen if he played with really talented players around him on his line. That being said, yeah, he does have that goal scoring touch, man. I'm not surprised though, man. This guy had that swagger to him. He had, I think early on, especially in this market, I think we even had a player's mom call him out on it too. Like he had
Yeah,
that
it was
little
Beth Bartowski. It was
yeah.
Matt Bartowski's mom. That's probably one of the best moments of this crappy Canucks era. Was drunk
Well,
Beth Bartowski ripping Jerry McCann. But
well,
I,
is
I,
it?
I
Is it?
want
Is
to make
it?
a point. I want to make a point quick here, Kyle. And
Go
we
ahead.
started this episode talking about people in the comments, giving you hate and giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
Jared McCann did not have an easy time in this market.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he was rushed into the NHL at 19 years old. Beth Bartowski's ripping on him. Andre Padan, former Fringe Canucks defenseman, basically called him out for not being a good teammate. And what's this guy do? He proves the haters wrong. Now he's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. So,
Bro, I really hope Jim Benning didn't listen to the number 15 defenseman on this team and the number 13th defenseman's mother when wanting to trade this guy for Erica Branson for real. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Benning did that. I will say this though too. I do think around that time, like Henrik and Daniel even called out some of the younger players too, and I think McCann was part of that mix too, just for like work ethic and all that jazz. I don't know if it was a Virtanen
I
thing
think
or
it's fair to be entitled. I think when you get rushed to the NHL at 19 and you're a first round pick and you've been a star all your junior career, but he obviously, I think we all kind of get better through negativity sometimes. Hopefully you do at least. And I believe McCann probably took those lessons to heart and used that to become a successful NHL player.
Yeah, man, it just kept working and doing his thing. And again, bouncing around a lot, even that whole getting traded to Toronto. And I know Toronto probably made that trade so they could protect a couple players and possibly have the Kraken pick McCann. But even that, you just get traded to a new team and right away they're going to put you on the expansion block and you might have to move again. It's a lot of things to go through mentally, and to be able to I know it's just hockey, but to be able to perform and be one of the better players in the NHL continually and having to go through all that movement and all that doubt it's impressive, man. And again, not that surprised because he's just a goal scorer, man. He's got that touch, man. He's got that touch. He doesn't got like that 50-goal touch, that 60-goal touch, but he's got that touch, man, for real.
Yeah, and never forget the Toronto Maple Leafs had him and they lost him. So shout out to the Leafs fans who are for some reason tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks. But I think that's it for today, Kyle.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for listening and for making Locked On Canucks your first listen every day. Now make your second listen game to game. Locked On NHL. Every moment, every performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across Locked On NHL with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL, available on Audacity, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. Kyle, any final thoughts before we GTFO?
One love again. I'm sorry about my voice, man. I'm sorry, Begsy, that I've lost you a couple.
Apologize, man. We brought up Scott Rintoul on this episode.
I care about you. I care about you. Like I said, subscribe so we can feed Trevor's family. Put the bacon on the table. And I've already lost you a couple fans, so I just want to say,
don't worry about it, man. We're better without that. We're better without them. We're better.
Yeah, one love to all the listeners and all the people commenting and all the new people that subscribed. For real, y'all the best.
Yeah, it's been a fun first week. We'll keep at her. See you next time on Locked On Canucks.
Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.